They say Blackwood Asylum closed its doors in the 50s, but some residents never truly left. Urban explorers who sneak past the rusted gates whisper tales of what they find inside. One story always stands out, the story of Nurse Miller. She was known for her cruelty, often locking difficult patients in the sub-basement for days. Legend asit, dudin ariot. The patients turned on her and locked her in the very same room. Her screams echoed for a week before finally falling silent. Now, if you dare to visit, people say you can still hear a woman weeping in the basement. And if you listen closely, you might hear her whisper your name, begging you to unlock the door. Would you dare to let her out? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more chilling tales. It was a night in late October. The kind of night where the wind sounds like it's whispering secrets just for you. Secrets stolen from the rustling leaves and the sighing branches of ancient trees. The moon, a sliver of bone-white china, hung precariously in the inky sky, and you could feel it in your very marrow. The thinning of the veil, the closeness of things unseen. It's on nights like these that the stories begin, the ones that curl around your heart and refuse to let go. We begin our journey tonight where so many sad stories end and others, stranger still, begin. The asylum. Picture, if you will, the Blackwood Sanatorium, perched on a desolate hill overlooking a town that has long tried to forget it. Its windows are like vacant eyes, staring out at a world that has moved on. Built in the late 1800s, a testament to Victorian ambition and ignorance, it was a place of supposed healing that became a repository for sorrow. They say the very bricks absorbed the anguish, the screams, the desperate, silent prayers of those locked within its walls. The doors creaked shut for the last time in 1972, but the residents, some of them, never truly left. The story that clings to Blackwood like ivy is that of Nurse Eleanor, a figure of spectral compassion. In life, she was one of the few who showed genuine kindness, often smuggling scraps of decent food or a warm blanket to patients deemed hopeless. She died during an influenza outbreak, working herself to exhaustion. Now, revore foolish urban explorers who venture into the decaying wards report the scent of lavender, her favorite soap, drifting through the sterile, dust-choked air. They speak of a gentle, humming sound echoing from the old infirmary, a lullaby for souls that have not yet found their peace. Sometimes, a door that was firmly shut will swing open, not with a crash, but with a soft, inviting creak, as if beckoning the visitor away from a more dangerous, collapsed section of the floor. She is the asylum's sorrowful guardian, her presence a faint, lingering warmth in a place grown cold with misery. But not all spirits in Blackwood are so benevolent. In the hydrotherapy wing, where brutal treatments were once administered, a palpable coldness resides. Visitors tell of a heavy, oppressive feeling, a sense of being watched by something malevolent, a presence known only as the doctor, a cruel physician who reveled in his authority, is said to stalk these halls. His footsteps, heavy and deliberate, are heard pacing the tiled floors, and a disembodied voice has been captured on recordings, a harsh whisper telling intruders to get out. The true terror of Blackwood isn't in the sudden frights. It's in the slow, creeping dread, the feeling that you have trespassed into a living, breathing memory of pain, a place where the echoes of suffering have become a permanent and hostile part of the architecture itself. It stands as a monument to forgotten souls, a ghost story etched in stone and decay. From the shadowed halls of the asylum, we wander, as all stories eventually do, to the quiet, hallowed ground of the graveyard. Cemeteries are not merely places of the dead. They are libraries of lives, gardens of memory planted with stone, and sometimes, in the digging of new plots or the restoration of the old, the earth gives up its secrets. Consider the tale from the small New England town of Harmony, where the expansion of the old Puritan cemetery in the 1980s unearthed a peculiar discovery. Alongside the expected coffins and bone fragments, workers found a series of small, lead-lined boxers buried just outside the consecrated ground. Inside each box was not a body, but a collection of strange artifacts. A lock of hair tied with a raven's feather, a smooth river stone etched with an unfamiliar symbol, and a single, tarnished, silver coin. The town historian, a man with a love for forgotten lore, delved into the archives. He found frantic journal entries from the 17th century town minister, describing a coven of whispers who practiced not dark magic, but a kind of folk sympathy. They weren't witches to be burned. They were healers, midwives, and comforters who used these spirit boxers to supposedly capture and contain the lingering pain or sorrow of the deceased, allowing their souls to travel on unburdened. The discovery didn't reveal a tale of horror, but one of profound, clandestine compassion, a secret ritual of empathy hidden for centuries. Just beneath the grass and stone, it changed the way the town saw its own history, not as a simple tale of stern piety, but as a place where kindness, like a stubborn root, found a way to grow even in the hardest of soils. Not all ghostly encounters are meant to chill the blood. Sometimes they are a balm for the grieving heart, a whisper of reassurance from beyond the veil. Think of the old lighthouse keeper, Samuel, who tended the light on a rocky, storm-lashed point for 40 years. His wife, Clara, had passed away 2 decades before him, her love for the sea second only to her love for him. She had a particular fondness for a small, protected cove near the lighthouse, where she would collect sea glass, her ocean jewels. When Samuel finally passed, a young family bought the old keeper's cottage, intending to restore it. The mother, a woman named Sarah, often felt a profound sadness when she looked out at the churning gray waves. One afternoon, while her children played on the beach, she found herself inexplicably drawn to that very same cove Clara had loved. There, nestled among the pebbles, was a perfect, heart-shaped piece of cobalt blue sea glass, a color so rare it was almost legendary. As she picked it up, she felt a sudden, gentle warmth on her shoulders, like a comforting hand, and the scent of salt and roses filled the air. Over the years, whenever a family member was feeling lost or sad, a piece of unusually beautiful sea glass would appear in an obvious place, a windowsill, by the doorstep, or in the pocket of a coat. They came to know it as Clara's gift, a quiet, spectral reminder from a long-gone keeper's wife that even in the face of life's storms, there is beauty to be found, and that, like the ocean, leaves its treasures behind for those with the patience to look. Now, let us turn our eyes from the land and cast them out upon the endless, unforgiving expanse of the ocean. The sea is a realm of profound mystery, a vast, dark mirror that reflects the sky but hides its own secrets in the crushing deep. It is a place that does not easily give up its dead, and sometimes, it seems, the dead do not give up the sea. This is the domain of ghost ships, the most majestic and chilling of all spectral phenomena. There is the infamous Mary Celeste, found adrift and deserted, its crew vanished as if plucked from the earth. But there are other lesser-known tales that speak of ships bound not to a port, but to an eternity of sailing. Consider the legend of the Valencia, a steamship that sank off the coast of Vancouver Island in 1906. It was a horrific wreck, with over 100 souls lost to the frigid, churning water and the merciless rocks. For decades after the disaster, sailors and fishermen reported seeing a phantom ship, its lights blazing, struggling against a storm that wasn't there. Some even claimed to see the spectral shapes of passengers clinging to the rigging, their ghostly forms reaching out in a silent, desperate plea for a rescue that would never come. More chillingly, one of the Valencia's lifeboats was found floating in a sea cave years later, in remarkably good condition, containing the skeletons of its occupants. The sea had kept them, a grim tableau preserved in the dark. The phantom of the Valencia is a scar on the ocean, a recurring nightmare of a tragedy so profound that it has imprinted itself upon the very fabric of the place where it happened. And then there are the mysteries that have no ghost, no clear specter to blame, but are all the more haunting for it. They are the empty spaces in our history, the questions that echo without an answer. We are drawn to these unsolved riddles like moths to a flame, because they remind us of the limits of our understanding. Take the strange case of the Flannan Isles lighthouse, off the coast of Scotland, in December of 1900. A passing ship noted that the light was out, a serious and unheard of failure. When a relief vessel arrived, the landing was empty. The lighthouse door was unlocked. Inside, a half-eaten meal sat on the table, a chair was overturned, and the keeper's oilskin coats were missing, suggesting they had rushed out into a storm. But the last log entry spoke of calm seas. The only strange notes were from the days before. Logs that described a storm the likes of which the experienced keepers had never seen, one that had them weeping and praying. Yet, no such storm was reported by any other ship in the area. The three men, Thomas Marcel, James Ducat, and Donald MacArthur, were gone. No bodies were ever found. Did a rogue wave, a monstrous freak of nature, sweep them away? Did a sudden madness, born of isolation and the unending howl of the wind, cause them to cast themselves into the sea? Or did something else, something from the ancient, brooding sea, come for them? The mystery is a perfect vacuum, a story without an end. It leaves us with nothing but the image of an empty lighthouse, a silent meal in the vast, indifferent ocean, keeper of a secret it will never tell. So we end our night of Thales, back where we started, with the wind whispering and the moon hanging in the sky. These stories of haunted asylums and kindly ghosts, of lost ships and silent lighthouses, they do more than just frighten us. They connect us. They connect us to the past, to the people who lived and loved and feared before us. They remind us that for every answer we find, a dozen new questions bloom in the darkness, and that the world is, and always will be, a place of wonder, of sorrow, and of profound, unsolved mystery. Now, go on. Turn on the lights if you must, but listen closely to the night. It might just have a story for you.